And so it is, for it was once again formed by the will of God and the work of his own hand. Formation of plants also makes available foodstuffs which any living creatures are able to eat in order to survive. Again, the creation substantiates what science says, for all science is doing is repeating and in many ways perverting what has already been said and has stood since the beginning of time. Now the third day, or third stage in the formation of the earth, was complete. The Lord then commands the lights in the sky or stars to form, another consequence of the Big Bang as science would put it, but something which is really a result of the work of God. He then forms the two great lights, or the sun and moon, which Genesis states, and science agrees, govern all our days, seasons and tides. This was something science did not come up with until thousands of years after the committal to document of the creation, further proving that science at best only rediscovers what already exists, but at worst totally rehashes it. By unleashing the light from the darkness of space, he is giving us the sun and moon to light the world. As you can see, the light of these came from God, who is the eternal light, for eventually, on the last day, the sun will pass away in common with the earth, but the eternal light, which is God, shall reign forever, with Christ, the light of the world, at his side. And now then, the fourth stage, the fourth day in the creation of the earth and its life, is now complete. By the command of God, the waters are then filled with life, in agreement once again as science and the creation say that life populated the land after coming forth from the water. Birds then fill the sky. Also both are in agreement here too, as birds came before man and mammals. So the fifth stage, the fifth day, is and was complete. The earth now has recognizable life. The creatures which came forth from the water then went on to produce life on land, as the creation fact and scientific theory both state. All this happened according to God's creation. According to his creation, animals of all kinds came to populate the land. Many of these creatures man has never seen. This accounts for the dinosaurs, for it is quite possible that these passed away in the stages before man's creation, for nowhere in the creation does it say that extinct species whose remains we have found never existed. One of the arguments science actually uses to try and say the creation is not correct is that creatures such as the dinosaurs are not mentioned in the Bible, but the Bible does not say they never existed, so they did indeed exist, even though they are not mentioned. Next, the most important factor comes, when we ourselves are created. In agreement with science, man came after all other kinds of animals, and thus both camps can agree that man is indeed one of the youngest of all created things, for he was not created until the sixth day or stage. Furthermore, as stated here, man has used his superior intellect to rule over all of the species of the earth using the superior technology he develops. At least this is how science would explain it. Really, this authority is down to the generosity of God and nothing else. We can see the last days approaching as they are beckoned by man losing his authority over his surroundings, as manifested by things like climate change, for this is God taking charge once again. Any authority man has in the first place is, after all, God-given. The creation accounts for the differences also between man and animal, when it says how God created man in his own image. Science puts all these things down merely to the flawed theory of evolution. We of course know which is correct. The creation also tells that we have male and female forms, something science too says is essential for the continuation of life. When God gave us all creation, he also gave us the ability to forge things such as agriculture and from there, a culture. Again, the creation shows how the seeds that led to civilization were sown. Thus, the sixth day, the final stage of creation, was complete. The earth as we now know it was born, with all the things as we know them developing from this one point in the infinite past. To conclude then, everything said in the creation agrees with all the scientific theories which have been set forth down the ages. In fact, the creation brings all these loose ends together. So we have no reason to search for our origin, for we know where we came from and, more importantly, where we are going. The study session we have shared today proves that all subject areas and what they say are substantiated by the Word of God, which is the Bible. In fact, the only reason man comes up with theories like those of so-called science is because by the work of Satan men seek to exalt themselves above God. Indeed, such theories are the work of Satan, for he uses them to make men deny God, as he himself denies God. All science's theories then, and what it explains, are merely the hand of God at work. They may indeed have took place. with all the parameters science says, but it is God behind them, for it is He who was and is behind the creation, for He reigns forever. Let us not then say that science is a bad thing, just that science and belief go hand in hand, for science was given to us by God so that man could understand and grow. It is just that somewhere along the line science was hijacked by Satan. And to answer all of you who are still skeptical as to whether God created the world in 6 days, remember time means nothing to God, so all expressions of time are relative, something which is explained to us in another part of the Bible, in the second epistle of Peter, chapter 3, verse 8, "With the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. Abide then by the fact of the creation, and not the fiction of theory."